5 days ago, I switched my primary phone, the iPhone 10, out for the iPhone 8 Plus. And the main reason I did this was because of the battery life on the iPhone 10. So the iPhone 10's battery life has always been a thorn in my side, and for some reason, my mind kept reminiscing to the time I had the iPhone 8 Plus for that 1 month, and I kept thinking, wow, the 8 Plus had such great battery. I would be able to get through the day without having to charge it again and again like I do with the iPhone 10. And I just, in my head, there was a little bit of that seed that, no, I was just kind of dreaming all this up. The iPhone 8 Plus was just the same. But a majority of my, most of me was like, no, the iPhone 8 Plus has a much better battery life. And I've even said that in so many videos, like the 8 Plus obviously is the better battery. Like for battery life, get the iPhone 8 Plus. But what I decided was, let me just switch over. I have the 8 Plus right here. I have the iPhone 10. Let me switch over and find out for myself what the battery life is like on the iPhone 8 Plus. So the same usage, same everything. So what I did was I took a backup of this phone, put it onto this, switched everything over, my SIM card, messaging, everything is on this phone. I switched over, even my Apple Watch I synced up, I reset my Apple Watch, synced it up, everything. So this phone was now a full clone of the iPhone 10 that I've been using for 6 months. And now what I did was I started off with thinking, just the battery isn't enough. Let me go one step further, figure out which of these two phones is actually better. Not in the sense that, objectively speaking, because I've already made a video on that. And I told you guys that for the price, the iPhone 10 just doesn't cut it in comparison to the iPhone 8 Plus. The value proposition of the iPhone 8 Plus is just way better than it is on the 10. However, that was me being objective and not bringing in my own feelings and my own personal liking into that video. In this video, that's not going to be the case. It kind of bugs me why the iPhone 8 Plus doesn't have a bigger battery. And at this point, I kind of, it was a moot point for me because the iPhone 10 obviously has the same battery life as the 8 Plus, and I thought that there's just no way that this would even perform better. But I decided to soldier on, not for the fact that why the battery thing I'd already determined what the truth was, but I wanted to find out if I were to buy the iPhone 8 or 10 today, if I had to go to the store, only buy one of them, which one would I buy? And one of the things that fell to my attention here was the control center. So the control center on the iPhone 10 has been kind of, it's been hated on for a while. I don't like it too much, but I got used to it. You have to pull it down from the top right. On the iPhone 8 and every iPhone before that, you pull it down from the bottom upwards. That's how you access it. The iPhone 10, it's put it up all the way at the top, which meant you'd have to do the shimmy. You have to do a shimmy with your phone, grab it, and then pull it down. So it got a little bit annoying. But the one advantage I actually realized to having it on the top is when you have the keyboard open, say in a messaging app or something, you can't actually easily pull up Control Center. You actually need to bring the keyboard down and then try to pull up the Control Center. While it does work sometimes with the keyboard, it's a lot easier to pull the keyboard down and bring up Control Center. With the iPhone 10, that's not an issue because you don't bring up the Control Center from the bottom, you bring it up from the top. So, there's that. One thing that I honestly didn't think I would feel, and I was actually surprised that I felt that way, was the fact that I was missing out. I didn't have the best iPhone. And while both of these phones are very similarly spec'd, they have very similar performance and everything, this just isn't the best iPhone. That's the very clear fact. The iPhone 10 is the best iPhone this year. And the first day or two, I just kept feeling like, I need why don't I have the best iPhone? And, it's kind of felt like there was just this feeling of, I'm not too show-offish, but I kind of feel like, wait, why don't I have the best iPhone? I want the best iPhone. And that was kind of the way I felt for the first 2 days. I kept, thinking, I'm just going to switch back. I don't want to do this anymore. But I soldiered on. And after the first couple of days, that feeling went away. But I still, it kind of surprised me that I had the feeling in the first place. Since I'm not too, show-offish anyways. I don't care if people see that I have the best phone or not. But I personally felt like, why don't I have the best, newest, greatest device there? So that is something to take into consideration. If you're the type of person who likes having the best of what's out right now, that's kind of something that you should factor into your buying decision. One thing that it did bug me was that how big, how heavy, and how bulky this phone gets, especially when you have a case on it. It's not a smart move to use this phone without a case because one crack on the back glass and the replacement costs $550 from Apple. So that's a risk I'm just not willing to take. So I do use this phone with a case. But the issue with the case is it gets so bulky and so heavy. This is the heaviest iPhone, hands down, through all of history. And a case just adds to that weight. It doesn't really help anything. And the bulk gets added. And coming from the iPhone 10, that was a big change that I didn't like. You know, the iPhone 10 is thinner, it's a lot more easier in your hand, and it's lighter. So when you add all those up, it's kind of annoying. And I don't know if it's just something that I'm feeling now because I'm coming from a smaller phone, or if it's something I genuinely don't like, because I've used these Plus model phones for a while, and this is the first time I've actually felt like they're very heavy and very bulky and unusable. So, you know, that is something also to keep in mind. If you don't like carrying a heavy phone, if you don't like a phone that's very large, you should, the iPhone 10 is definitely a better choice there. And one of the features that I really, really like about the iPhone 10, which is actually very easy to get on all these other phones, is tap to wake. So with the iPhone 10, if you tap the screen will turn on. With the iPhone 8, basically every other iPhone, you can't do that. The 6S and above, if you lift the display, you'll get the screen turning on. But say it's flat on a table or something and you tap the screen, it won't turn on. I got so used to tapping on the screen of the iPhone 10, it was just weird not having that function. You know, I keep tapping the screen and, you know, expecting it to turn on, but it doesn't. So that's something I really like about the iPhone 10. So wrapping things up, which one of these phones would I buy? I think with this video, it was pretty clear throughout that I still like the iPhone 10 a lot better than the 8 Plus. Now, if you were asking me to speak objectively, I'd still say that the iPhone 8 is a lot better value. And I still stand by the fact that I said that in a previous video. But personally, when it comes to it, the iPhone 10 size, the display, and everything else just combined is a lot better of an experience than it is on the iPhone 8 Plus. And the 8 Plus isn't a bad phone by any measure, but personally, I take the iPhone 10. So if you have any questions about this comparison or about the way that the decision came about for me, feel free to comment down below and let me know if you agree or not. Also, if you want to get something, some comment or some kind of question across quickly, hit me up on social media. It's a lot easier for me to get the notifications there and reply quickly. I have all the links down below with my email if you ever want to reach out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. A lot more videos like this coming out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.